Mark Bishop Show. Truly like a box of chocolates. You never know who you're going to meet. From business, lifestyle, and fun. Here's Mark.
And welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Mark Bishop Show. October, although it's nearly over when we're recording this, it is Cut-Out Dissection Month. Do you remember Kind Kids? Kind Frog? It's the anniversary of a revolution in science education. In the years since PETA's Humane Science Education Division, Teach Kind Science, they launched Kind Frog, a brand new kind of frog model that is pleasant to use, ethically dissectible, and silicone-based that gives students hands-on experience without the cruelty and the mess of cutting up real frogs. Samantha Crowe is my guest on this episode. She's the Associate Director of Science Education for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, our good friends PETA. Welcome, Samantha.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, some 15,000 kind frogs have been distributed to schools throughout the U.S., Sam. That's amazing now.
Yeah, we're really excited about the kind frog and just how it's poised to replace millions of frogs who are killed for classroom dissection every year.
Yeah, they're taken out of, their ponds and their river homes in nature every year. And, it's an environmental nightmare, and then killed for dissection in U.S. schools. 95% apparently of teachers who have participated in last year's pilot program and responded to follow-ups, they continue to use only animal-free dissection. In other words, they love it.
They sure do. It's so encouraging to hear from teachers who have participated in the pilot program that they get it and they see the benefits of using animal-free methods instead of dissecting animals. And it's very encouraging, for our work to be recognized in that way, and for, the teachers to be able to try out the materials for free at no risk and then decide on their own that, ethical dissection is the way to go.
Is it cost comparable?
Oh, it certainly is. Kind frogs are actually less expensive than preserved frogs. So kind frogs are for sale for $5 each, which is a huge cost savings over animals, preserved frogs and the like. And then there are other software programs and crafty sort of models that are also an extensive cost savings initially and over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, formaldehyde's not cheap, and that's, of course, with the real poor little froggies. They're offered free through Teach Kind's pilot program. Now, anatomically, the frogs are correcting color-coded organs that make it easy for students to identify and study them with a clarity that apparently often isn't possible with real frogs. Complete female reproductive systems to identify and discuss. Free accompanying lessons, plans are shown and given. What are the biggest things that come back to you? Why the teachers and the students love them?
Oh, yes. Teachers have called the kind frog a game changer in the classroom. There's little to no setup. There's no chemicals. There's no biohazard disposal concerns. And I know you mentioned formaldehyde. That's a carcinogen. And animals are preserved in it initially, even if their shipping solution is changed. We are being exposed to formaldehyde, and our students are, and our teachers are as well in the classroom. Mm-hmm. Students overwhelmingly love the kind frog as well, and they've told us through satisfaction surveys that the majority of students are relieved. The word that they used was relieved that they were dissecting a kind frog and not a dead frog.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of the old, play up too, isn't there, in the lab, and boys scaring the girls and hanging them over their heads and doing all sorts of crazies. You know what I mean? That doesn't help.
We've heard some.
Yeah, tell us. Share a couple.
About students.
Go on, share a couple.
Yeah, so there have been students who have posted videos of themselves jump roping with cat intestines. We had a case where a teacher was juggling dead frogs in the classroom. And another, I think probably the most egregious national case that we had of students misbehaving with animal cadavers was students in an anatomy and physiology class where like they did a choreographed dance routine with their dead cats, and it's very shocking. It's very shocking that that's happened in U.S. schools, but also just that the students are being desensitized to animal suffering, and that is a very dangerous lesson.
Yes, that's not good at all, particularly, what PETA tries to do with the new ones coming through. It's easy setup, apparently, because kind frog is liquid and toxin-free, so there's no need for gloves or goggles or even aprons for that matter, eliminating the need to purchase these, costly additional materials. So you mentioned before, I'm trying to ascertain, I get the color-coded organs. That's terrific. But you mentioned software. How does that sort of come into it all?
Yeah, so right now in the silicone models, we only have the frog, but we did just launch it last year. So, we wanted to kind of see how that went. But in addition to that, there are animal-free methods to address any species that teachers would like to study.
Oh, okay.
And those can be accomplished using software. So a program like eMind is a digital learning platform that allows students to dissect animals digitally, remove organs, and it also has like simulated digital, experiments such as, the gastrocnemius muscle lab and breathing rate labs and things like that are just really, really fun for students that you wouldn't have been able to do with a dead animal anyway.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea of the easy cleanup, that doesn't require biohazard safe disposal, because kind frog isn't stored in or processed with toxic chemicals like formaldehyde. So there's also no odor, I gather.
No, they don't smell at all.
Okay. But, we might laugh, but we go back to, think about it, 15,000 kind frogs, and you're not even covering the whole nation. So how many millions of living froggies are taken directly from their ponds and river homes? I guess some come at you and say, yeah, but you need to have a balance of nature. There's too many frogs around. We've got to get rid of them. But it's the other way, isn't it? They're a very big part of nature and are needed.
Frogs are keystone species, in fact. So the U.S. Department of the Interior has indicated that their population declines are due in part to their use for classroom dissection. So this is certainly a very harmful practice, in many ways, but particularly for the environment.
Yeah. The kind frog, the Teach Kind's pilot program, or Teach Kind Science, is that a website, or is all of this on the PETA.org/Teach Kind? Is that the best place to go to really, get into the meat of this, so to speak?
Yeah, Teach Kind has its own website, so that's teachkind.org, and there teachers can find information about the pilot program and about our other resources, because we are a good resource for teachers and have lots of free worksheets and lesson plans and materials online. So that's teachkind.org. Mm-hmm. Parents can also check that out, if they have a student faced with an animal dissection or just, would like to support their student.
So is there a reason, do you think, Samantha, to believe that animal dissection could dissuade students from the sciences?
Yes, and because it absolutely does. Studies show that forcing students to dissect animals can deter them from pursuing careers in science. And we know this because PETA hears from these students. We hear from students who are eager to learn, but who are encouraged to either drop the class or encouraged to participate against their ethics. And it's just such a dangerous lesson, and we don't want, students to be desensitized in this way, and we don't want empathetic students to not seek careers in the sciences, right?
Right. Well, it's always been part of it, isn't it? The lab and dissections and other things other than just, making all sorts of things with smoke come up in there's a lot of things. But I do ask you this, Samantha, do parents and students have recourse if they don't want to dissect an animal but are being told that they must?
Absolutely. So there are hundreds of districts that have what we call dissection choice policies, and these policies provide an outlet for students to exercise their rights to not dissect an animal. Some districts, of course, have completely replaced animal dissection, but if there isn't a policy in place and students and parents, are faced with this, the first step is just talking to the teacher, teachers need to hear from students loudly that they do not want to dissect animals and specifically why they don't want to, that they are ethically opposed to it, that it's an environmental hazard and so on and so forth. And of course, if needed, the parents and the student can certainly escalate up to the administration. But I would always say the first step is, talking with the teacher, share the Teach Kind pilot program resources with them, and also let them know, that Teach Kind is here to help, and we will give these animal-free methods to them to try out for free.
You need all the teachers behind you on this. You need everybody promoting. Yes, it wouldn't be nice to have it the other way, go against your grades or go against your overall disposition because you refuse. But at the same token, I can see why you'd want to refuse in a lot of cases. I think, folks, you got to go to PETA.org, www.PETA.org, not com, PETA.org /one word, teach kind, okay? And you're going to read a lot about that. I mean, it's only been going a year, and it's already exceptionally successful. Do you see this going nationwide, literally blanketing, every school?
That is the goal. I would love to see the day that frogs are no longer dissected and that kind frog is the gold standard. And we are very encouraged by the feedback so far. And, I'm just excited to keep doing what we're doing.
Have you had any of the science and, people who are in control of diseases and God knows what else, have they ever come at you and said, if we leave the frogs as they are, there's going to be a problem?
I actually have not heard that, which is nice.
Yeah.
No.
Because, I can see somebody, animal lovers and so on, I can see them jumping up and down with all science, from that perspective of what it can do to because frogs have a place in the whole system, like all animals do, But that's amazing. Yeah, I wasn't around in my time, but it's pretty clever. You can got the colors. You've got all these different parts of the frog, and it's not messy, doesn't smell, and doesn't. Oh, what a wonderful thing! And you can look at all the different parts and learn so much. It'd be interesting, very interesting indeed. So, Samantha, thanks for sharing with us today, folks. Samantha Crowe, she's the Associate Director of Science Education for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. And you know who they are, don't you? They are the world's kings in what they do and queens, the PETA. Sam, you did a great job. Thank you so much. I wish you luck with this project. And let's hope it really,
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thanks for being on the show. Bye now.
Thank you.
Join us again for another episode of The Mark Bishop Show. It's a production of Mark Bishop Media.